Hello and welcome to tonight's episode of the Group Therapy Podcast. Brandon has decided to take the night off, and Tina is back again. And
only because it's Valentine's Day.
Only because it's Valentine's Day. Got to spend the weekend with your husband.
Yeah.
Yep. Watching documentaries about Elisa Lam and the Cecil Hotel, however you want to pronounce it.
Yeah, depending on what part of the world you're from.
What part of the world you're in. All right. As always, tonight's episode is brought to you by RU Game, the best comic book video game, magic, toy, whatever else I sell store in all of Piqua, Ohio. Located at 124 North Sunset Drive, Piqua, Ohio, 45356. And I know I got to put this out there because we are getting more people watching this. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. If you do, put comments. We're getting comments finally and stuff like that. And we are giving away on YouTube. We reach 100 subscribers, and I'm trying not to do this without going through them little things where the advertisements and stuff like that. I'm trying to do this actual, feet on the ground type advertising. But when we hit 100 subscribers, I will be giving away a brand new copy of DC's Metal to one lucky subscriber. I will ship that out on my dime, and that is a brand new sealed copy. And then if we hit 100 subscribers on Podbean, I will send out a brand new sealed copy of Road to Metal DC with both of them are special editions with the foily covers and all that fun stuff.
That's a pretty big deal because you're cheap.
Yeah, I am super cheap.
You don't like giving up money.
I don't like giving up money, and I don't like giving up comic books. And that's hard given the fact that I own a comic book store and I sell comics that if it was up to me, I would just keep one of all of them, but I don't.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as a person who wants to save physical media, that I should have one copy of everything.
But then you struggle between that and being married.
Yeah, and then I literally was joking with Mark, but I wasn't really joking around with Mark about buying a house trailer just to store shit in.
I would be okay with that.
I was like, it's $4,000 to buy the house trailer, and I'm sure the lot rent's like $100.
No,
so
lot rents are more than that now.
I don't know. But I could store my car because I had a garage and the whole 9 yards, so I wouldn't have to store anything here.
Yeah.
And then
you would still store a lot.
I'd still store my shit here, but yeah. But it is Sydney, and
yeah.
I'm not saying this isn't off the table completely on buying a property that's cheap enough that I can just put my shit there, but it's.
Should have just bought that house from your uncle.
You know, I almost did, just to store shit there, and just so I could set up. We could have a party house, so we can go there and have a good time, and then we could leave, and then people wouldn't actually be at our house. So, but
okay, so we've been watching documentaries about serial killers or just strange paranormal stuff.
Which we've both been fascinated by this. I've been fascinated with this since like junior high.
Oh yeah.
And my first big foray into like the true crime stuff was, of course, everybody's gateway, I guess, Jack the Ripper, which I've consumed 100 documentaries and probably 100 books on Jack the Ripper. And every time I watch something, or I'll watch a 2-hour documentary and get 1 minute of actual information that I didn't have before. But that's information that I did not have before.
Yeah.
And then the other one was Zodiac Killer.
Yeah.
And I consumed Zodiac Killer from high school up until relatively recently. And now it's getting where they deciphered the code and all that stuff, and
mine was probably the up in Michigan, the one that was killing like nursing students.
Oh yeah, the nursing student.
Because that's where my mom's from, so I heard about it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there's a lot. Being a heavy metal horror kid in the 80s, early 90s, that was like a prerequisite that we had to be fascinated by serial killers. And that's the nursing home. You need why can't I think of his name? Just nursing school. I think he killed the nursing school. But no, I read like every true crime book, and I also love all them ones. Oh, Richard Speck. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that dude was man. That last documentary about him where he was in prison and yeah, that was all kinds of screwed up. That he was loving it in prison. He was
no, this was in Chicago.
Yeah. But that's another one I read about. And then like I said, in the late 90s, they put that documentary on TV because he had evidently found a camcorder in prison and filmed while they were in prison, and it's just that guy's was wiki. What do you?
Yeah, this was one of the ones that I
there it is. He's even got that listed up there. Go Above Death. And there it is, prison video. In 1996, Chicago News anchor Bill Curtis. Bill Curtis, famous for, not Forensic Files, the other one. Bill Curtis used to be on, like A&E.
American Justice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Cold Case Files. Cold Case Files, yeah. I remember him talking about the guy that murdered them people over in Greenville. Yeah, I think that was on him. Yeah. And then they showed pictures of her house. They showed his path to work, and it went right by our old house. Because remember our house? I was like, that guy went way out of his way if he drove by our house. But we just watched the ones on Netflix. The one about the Golden State Killer, and the Golden State Killer / East Area Rapist guy, and then. Now we watched the one on Elisa Lam where everybody... Oh, shit. We also watched Don't Fuck With Cats on the Internet.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Yeah, that's all kinds of fucked up.
Yeah.
See, that's like the antithesis...
Okay, this is Don't Fuck With Cats on the Internet is the positive side of people going on the internet and solving a crime. The Elisa Lam is the negative side of it because they basically almost drive a guy to killing himself because they accuse him because he posted a video at the hotel. Yeah, and it was a year before, but because people seen this video of him at the hotel, and then he was a death metal singer, so his stuff was very dark and morbid. That was his stage name.
His name morbid. Yeah, his name was Pablo Vergara.
Yeah. But they basically started threatening this guy, and he was in Mexico at the time of her death.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of documentation and everything. He was not in the United States.
So he was being threatened and pursued by people on the internet, like to the extent that he almost killed himself.
Yeah, he said he woke up in a psychiatric hospital.
Yeah, and then like he can't even perform music anymore because it's basically ruined him for it. And that's like the extreme of it. Just really, really sad.
But you can tell though he was Mexican black metal, because if he was Norwegian black metal, they would have been like, yes, we did it.
But no, he tried to like even come out and say like, I didn't do this, and he was fearful because people were saying, we're gonna kill you, we're gonna get you, like we're coming after you, and I mean pushed him almost over the edge completely.
There's the whole thing where you get all these people who get investigated for, okay, like the Golden State Killer, they looked into other cops and stuff like that. That other one we watched about the guy that was going around raping them girls was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. There was a cop that fit the profile. And yeah, he was a kind of a d-bag, but you know,
it wasn't the right.
Yeah, it wasn't the
person.
right. Yeah, but he fit every.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to get people who, you know, there are bad people out there, and there are horrible people out there, and you know, just because you know the guy beats his wife, that's bad. That's very bad. Guy kills his wife, that's fucking horrible.
Mm-hmm.
You know. It's, you know, yeah, he's a D-bag, should be in jail, but, you know, is he a murderer? No. But I don't justify either one. He's still a piece of shit. But, you know, like I said, I even took psychology in high school and stuff like that just because this stuff fascinated me. What could cause, you know, a person to just be like, you know what, I need to start murdering people. That's going to be my new hobby. And then, like, the Golden State Killer guy, D'Angelo. What is it?
James D'Angelo.
Yeah, James D'Angelo. Dude had a full-time job as a cop in another city.
Several times over.
Yeah.
Like,
and was going states away, going cities away, stalking people, getting their...
Well, at one point he was doing it in the same town.
Yeah.
Or like a town over or something because he almost got caught.
Yeah, it was when he was he was the original Night Stalker, the Visalia Ransacker. Yeah, that was the Visalia Ransacker.
That's when he almost got caught.
Yeah.
Because the cop
that's the one he
ran into him.
Yeah, that's where he shot the cop, shot the cop's gun and took his eye out.
Yeah.
So he had a one-eyed cop that was in a police force a town away from the cop who was the guy who shot him. Who, you know...
That's an interesting documentary because it talks about how it escalates, how he starts just doing the small crimes, just like doing the ransacking and stealing panties and stuff.
He was stealing like little trinkets, trophies. Yeah. And that's common.
Yeah.
That's super common.
And then he moved on to rape, and then he moved on to murder. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's basically how that escalated because he wasn't getting caught. So it was escalating further.
And the thing is that if he was ever confronted, he just killed him.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, pulled a gun, shot him because he's a cop. You know, that people are going to fit a description and be able to bring up this guy, and it's going to be like, oh, hey, that's guy looks like... And the worst part about it is the descriptions that did fit him looked exactly like him.
Yeah.
The freaking what do you call it? The profile pictures. The sketch artist. The sketch artist. The sketches of him looked exactly like the dude. It was creepy how much it looked like him. It looked like it, but you know, the thing is that with like the Golden State Killer, and that guy was... That's like he was smart until the end. He played the feeble old man and everything else like that. But everybody's like, legit. I watched this dude like picking stuff up and working on cars and
his neighbors were afraid of him. Like his neighbors were talking about how he had threatened them, and they were like not okay with him at all.
Yeah, the worst part about it is he looks like our old neighbor.
Yeah. He does.
Yeah.
We're not going to go there.
We're not going to go there. That's was that slander?
Yeah.
Or libel. But no, it's you look at these guys, and you know everybody's like, oh, you know, serial killers want to get caught. Serial killers do not want to get caught. They get lazy.
Yeah.
Because they don't get caught.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I ain't got caught yet.
Yeah, they take it for granted.
Well, okay. This get off a little bit of this, but I was always fascinated by Ted Bundy because they love bringing up Ted Bundy because he was the good looking. You know, there was a good chance that if he would have stayed he would have been a politician.
Yeah,
I mean,
very charismatic.
Yeah, very charismatic. People liked him. Even like the people who like when he was in prison, people liked him because he was so super friendly and all that. And they were like, hey, murdering, raping women and. You know, going back in necrophilia and all that stuff. But, and this is one thing I thought was crazy. he helped catch other serial killers because
attention.
It was attention.
Yeah.
And it was a challenge for him, too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and they put him to death. And I got the fact, yeah, he was going to death and everything. I was like, yeah, but I was like,
if he didn't want to keep doing it, though.
You know, he did, because that would have kept him off of death, you know.
Yeah, but he was... There's, like, speculation about that.
Yeah, but what I like, though, is if he was going to continue to help, would you just keep postponing his death sentence? Because you'd be like, if you have that tool to use to be able to catch serial killers, wouldn't you use every tool you have? And I know he deserved to be electrocuted, and I'm, even as fascinated as I was by the whole Ted Bundy thing, is like, yeah, whatever. But he, like, if you're gonna have that tool in your arsenal, you feel like you should use it until it's no longer usable. Mm-hmm. And you use it until and then you're like, okay, all right, we're going to keep doing that until, you can't do nothing anymore. All right, bye. Put him in the chair. And the escape attempt, that was great. That was a really good movie. Who would ever guess Zac Efron would play a great Ted Bundy?
Yeah.
Was it?
People did not like that either, because he did it so well, because he looked like him.
I don't know if he looked like him, but
he took on the persona pretty well.
Yeah. But, I remember I remember the day they electrocuted him. I was sitting in not in school, I was on, I went to school that day. That's how old I am. I'm old. Because he got executed when I was...
it was in 89.
89. So, I was a sophomore or junior. Or no, I was a sophomore probably. In the high schools. But I remember them... I was listening to the radio. And they were talking about all the people outside just waiting for him to be electrocuted. Like, with the signs and everything. I was like, man, that's insane. But you know what? I don't blame them. You go down there and see that car crash and... Mm-hmm. But... Because he helped kill... can't remember which one he helped bring in. He helped bring in a couple of them. Or I don't know if he helped bring them in, but he helped find a couple of them because he was like...
Yeah, he let them basically, come in and study him, too.
Yeah. But then you get, Henry Lee Lucas. We watched that documentary on him. How they think that, he was thought to be the most prolific serial killer of all time. And then they looked into it and they think that, he might have, killed his mom. That was it. Maybe two people. And... I know it's bad to say that's it, but he was thought to be because he just loved the attention. So he was. They're like, did you kill these people?
That confessed.
Yeah, he was a a habitual confessor.
Yeah.
Serial confessor or whatever they want to call it. But yeah, the people the killers that confess just so they can. I just watched a documentary on another one that did that. It was some girl. She claimed that she was killing all these people, and then they really found out that she didn't kill nobody. Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole. Yeah, but see, everybody loves to say these people were charismatic and good looking, but Henry Lee Lucas was not. Fucking have one tooth, hillbilly. Same with Ramirez. There was nothing charming about that guy. Was he was. I've read a bunch of stuff on him too. Mm. He thought he was brought to us by the devil because AC/DC told him so with the song Night Stalker. So
when he was young, he was kind of a normal looking guy, but when he'd make the faces and be weird
because he was the second Night Stalker because the Golden State Killer was the original Night Stalker. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, see, that's just crazy. Look at the cause of death. He died from lymphoma. He didn't even get to chair.
No.
That's insane. I'm bad that I'm like pissed off at serial killers don't get fucking...
while awaiting execution.
Yep. Hey, you think it would have just been like, hey, he's gonna die in a... No, hurry up. Put him in a chair, quick. Let's get this. Come on.
Yeah, it don't work that way, though.
I know. You got appeals and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gary Ridgway, that was one of the other ones. That was the... BTK. That was, the Green River Killer. And, yeah. I can't remember who... I thought Gary Ridgway was the BTK. But, alright. I know it's bad that like I said, I've watched and read too many documentaries and read too many books on killers over the years.
Yeah, sometimes they
blur together, especially when they start using the acronyms, like the Golden State Killer. He was the GSK, and the EAR because he was EAR, East Area.
No, he's Iran's.
Yeah, East Area Rapist, original Night Stalker. Yeah, that's right. So, BTK. Oh, Dennis Rader. That's it. God dang. That's insane. You start getting these all blurred together.
Mm-hmm.
Nah. Well, with some of these, though... Like I said, you get back to my fascination with this stuff started with Jack the Ripper, Zodiac Killer. Guys who basically would tell people, yeah, this is me. I did this. Come on, find me. And never got caught. Because some people believe that Jack the Ripper and H.H. Holmes were the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
Which... I could see that. I mean, there's some little bit of overlaps and stuff like that could be there.
I don't know. For me, I've always been fascinated with the psychology of it.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably what's the interesting part to me is the psychology of the whole thing. It's not that I'm interested in the killing or anything like that. No. That has nothing to do with it. It's the psychology of what makes somebody want to do those things.
Yeah.
That is fascinating to me. Not in... I don't know, and that's even weird to say that it's fascinating. It's just, I've always had an interest in what makes people tick.
It's interesting, not fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, me with the whole thing with the Zodiac Killer was all the people that were looking for him. There were people trying to break that code for, what was it, 60s... to now, and they just broke it.
Mm-hmm.
And he stopped killing, and some people think he only stopped killing because he got caught doing something else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens with a lot of these serial killers is they get caught doing something stupid and they end up in jail, so they have to take time off of prison for anything you do, any crime wise is stupid. But everybody makes out serial killers to all be hyper intelligent, that they're all super smart, but then they all secretly want to get caught. But that's not the case.
Mm-mm.
Some of them are just super lucky, or they just happen to be in a job, like the one truck driver, I can't think of his name right now, who would drive around in a refrigerated truck and he would kill people, drive them in that truck, dump them somewhere else, so they were frozen, and they were nowhere near where they were abducted.
Yeah, and they say when a killer dumps a body, it's usually not far from where it's like within 10 miles.
Yeah, but see, that's just it. There's also the ones that do stuff like that.
Because they have the fear for getting caught.
Yeah. Okay. This goes back to kind of something that we knew about locally, was the head they found on Rusk Road in Troy.
No, they found the torso.
No, they found a head because they put it on the news. Remember, everybody threw a fit.
Yes, I know.
But they did it. Yeah.
But they found it in different places.
Yeah, and the guy had killed the girl, cut her up, and then dumped her in different places.
And it was more than one guy.
Well, it was...
No, it was more than one.
Yeah, but the one main guy...
it was just a group.
Was old dude, was Brian's soccer coach, Brian's brother's soccer coach.
Yeah, that was...
But that dude was going all the way down to Kentucky, picking up prostitutes, and then bringing them all the way up here and dumping their parts all around. That's an old one. That's the yep.
Yeah, they have the
buckskin girl. Yeah. Yeah, we got. I mean, yeah, we live in a little.
Peggy Casey, that's who it was.
Yeah. Dismembered parts were found in Miami, Clark, and Champaign County in 1994.
Torso was found in Miami County. And her head was in Champaign County.
Okay.
So, it was in different places.
Yeah. Well, I knew she was, but yeah, and that guy was abducting them all the way down there and then bringing them up here and dumping the bodies all over 3 counties. So, you know, it's never the same. Yeah, a lot of them put them so they can revisit the crime, but that's not necessarily all of them. You know, they try to shoehorn, going, okay, well, these guys all did this. Well, that's what they'll do. That's what all killers do. Oh, they're all white males in their early 30s.
By a group of men.
Oh, okay. Yep. But, well, one of them
wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. But then what is the one guy in Cleveland? Black older guy. Does not fit the description of any serial killer. It's, you know, yes, there is the, you know, overlying, there's the bubble. That's the bubble. That's all the 30-year-old white men who have, but then you get your, Elena, Warnos. She's the bubble. She's a white... Eileen, what'd I say?
You said Elaine?
Eileen Warnos. Yeah. You have her bubble. You have the guy up there in Cleveland. You got another guy, bubble. You got all these, you know, but... And everybody wants to try to be like, every serial killer is this guy. No. Then you get the crazy guy down there in Juarez. Right there on the border town. They actually made a horror movie about it called Border Town. The guy was sacrificing people, and definitely not a white guy. So, but
so I think we got away from what we were originally going to talk about.
We definitely got. We always do this.
Yeah.
But all right, but we're going to get back to the what was the documentary called with the Golden State Killer? That's bad. We need to put that on there.
Yeah, I guess we do.
Because it's on Netflix. Yeah. Both of these are on Netflix, by the way. Netflix, and then the next one we're gonna watch is the Night Stalker one, which I know we're behind on the Night Stalker one because that one came out before the Elisa Lam one that they just put out. Being called. Golden State Killer Bodies.
I'll Be Gone in the Dark.
I'll Be Gone in the Dark. Yeah, that's super interesting. That's in multiple parts, and they just keep looking into it because a lot of these people think oh, this guy will never get caught. We're so close. We always think we're so close, and I love the fact that the one guy retired from being a cop, but yet he was still. That was still what he did. He still investigated the one crime.
Oh, no, this isn't the one that's on Netflix. I'll Be Gone in the Dark is on, I think that's on HBO Max. Because that has to do with
okay.
Michelle McNamara, who was the wife of
Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, okay, so that one was not on Netflix. I don't want to give... Okay, we're giving... Yeah, it was on HBO Max.
I think so.
We found that out. We found that because when we got HBO Max, we're like, oh, hey, let's watch this. This looks interesting. And then we, like, devoured it in, like, 2 days.
Yeah.
We watched it really quickly. Same with this Elisa Lam one. We started watching it, yesterday?
Yeah, that was The Vanished.
The Vanished?
That's what it's called, the Elisa Lam one.
The Vanished?
It's like The Vanished.
It's got like a something else. It's got a bigger, longer title. It's like the case.
The Vanishing Cecil Hotel.
The Vanishing of this Vanishing at Cecil Hotel.
Cecil Hotel.
Cecil.
Yeah.
But all right, yeah. So watch. What was the I Come in the Dark?
I'll Be Gone in the Dark.
I'll Be Gone in the Dark. I'll Come in the Dark. That's a porn movie.
Yeah, that's way off base.
That's a horrible. That is something. If you can, and you got HBO Max, because I'm pretty sure like everybody has HBO Max now because everybody's watching free movies that are in the theatrical. So I'll Be Gone in the Dark. But you get Patton Oswalt's wife was working on that one when she passed away, I believe. Or she finished it and then passed away. She saw that one finish up. But yeah, if you got HBO Max,
Is this the one that we watched?
Yeah, it's the documentary.
I know. I started watching one, and then we started watching a different one.
I don't know. We've watched so many. This is it. We are both like documentary crazy people here.
So this is one of them. But I don't think this is the one that we watched. I think this is the one that I started watching.
True crime and Netflix. Okay, yeah, because we watched it on HBO Max. Are we on in the dark?
Maybe it is that one.
So, but we were watching that one, and that's just fucked up. It's you know, the you have the people who are like, you know, when he was just a rapist. You know, you had the ones that were didn't want to talk about it. That's just something you don't talk about. You're raped. Just shut up.
Yeah.
And that's just amazing that you know, and I know it still goes on to this day.
It very much still goes on.
Because we watched that the other documentary,
no, that
Unbelievable.
Was a movie.
Yeah, it's
a movie based on
docudrama.
Yeah,
it's
movie based on something that actually happened.
About the girl that got raped and her. It's unbelievable. That's on Netflix, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. And no one believed her. And she basically recanted her story, only to find out this guy was going around and had raped, 15 girls or something like that? It was a lot.
It was a few.
And they asked her if she would do... She goes, I would have lied earlier and never got in trouble. You know?
Well, the thing about it is she went to the police, and then they started questioning everything that they said, everything that she said, which is what they do. She's a young girl. She's a troubled girl. So then they start looking at her going, are you telling the truth? Did this really happen to you? And they badgered her to the point where she just wanted to be done with it. So she was like, no, it didn't happen. I lied. And then you find out that other people kind of had different things to do with it. And then later, these other cases start coming to light. Well, it wouldn't have even been connected until these other detectives started thinking, we need to look outside of this area. Mm-hmm. And... you know, so they start doing that, and then they connect all these other cases, and they don't find out about her until later, and I'm not going to give away everything that happens, but it's a really interesting, and I will say, if you've ever been through any kind of abuse or ever been through any of that, it's hard to watch at times because it's, I mean, you think about it, it's something that really happened to people, and they get pretty detailed and go into detail about how these women were attacked and, you know, what they went through and psychologically what they went through. They go through into a lot of detail. They go into a lot of detail of, you know, what happened after the fact too.
Well, yeah, you see the one that starts destroying her relationships after it. You see, you know, the ones that break down and just becomes agoraphobic. And, And then, you know, this girl that it starts, you know, because it goes back and forth. The show is kind of, it bounces timelines, so that can be a little confusing at times, but it's really, because it's showing, at some points, it's showing two different time periods of what's going on. And I will say it's the end is fairly satisfying with what happens, because you're just kind of like, oh, yeah, you know. But it's a hard watch, but it's a really good... It's satisfying, but then you get to that end where there is a little bit of unfulfilled...
Yeah. Well, there's going to be in that situation regardless.
Yeah, that you don't get to find out, and it's true that never gets answered. But yeah, just that one is unbelievable, and that's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right, so we did I'll Be Gone in the Dark. We did Unbelievable. Let's get back to Vanished. We just watched this one, and this one's fresh in our minds. And all right, I'm going to have a break here. So we're going to put a break right there. We're going to put a break right now, and then we will get back with the Vanished, the Elisa Lam story of the Cecil Hotel.
Okay.
When the sun and the sand light my thirst with desire, only one diet drink can put out that fire. I wanna pop, I wanna diet Shasta, I wanna lick my lips and keep my slinky hips.
I drink Diet Shasta because now it has NutraSweet and it tastes great. And everybody knows I have great taste.
I wanna pop, I wanna diet Shasta.
The usual, sir.
Please.
Even after 500 plays, our high-fidelity tape still delivers high fidelity. Maxell, it's worth it.
All right, we are back. Had to take a short break there. Now we're back at this again, and we are back in the saddle again. All right, the Cecil Hotel. See, my whole thing with the Cecil Hotel is everybody. This is before we even get into the whole thing. Everybody's like, oh, it's evil place. It's haunted. It's this and the other. I'm like, the thing is you let a bunch of bad shit happen without policing it, there's going to be deaths. There's going to be ODs. You got prostitution. You got drugs. You got everything that was going on in that hotel from, the 70s to the 90s. And...
well, that whole area.
Yeah, that whole area is... It's Skid Row is all around, basically, that building. But that building was like... They were talking about how at certain points it was $14 a night. You know... I heard them.
Well, it was. They talked about how it was basically set up so that homeless people could go in and stay there.
Yeah, it was like people fresh out of prison, people fresh out of mental institutions, people fresh out that couldn't get anywhere else. He goes, it was supposed to be there so that you could be there for a few days, a few weeks, and then people end up living there for years. You know, there was one dude that was like, what, a decade? lived there for a decade
at least.
He goes, you didn't go above the 6th floor.
Mm-hmm.
He goes,
That's where all the bad things
the higher
happen.
you got, the worse it was.
Yeah.
He goes, it was the Wild West.
Because you did get thrown out of a window.
Yeah. He goes, they would rob you and throw you out a window.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, is that's the thing is if there's nobody policing it, and there's no, you know, buddy going in there, there was, you know, because that was back before there was really security cameras and shit like that.
Well, they talk about, and we can talk about the Elisa Lam story, because that's, like, it was released what happened. I mean, it's not a surprise. You don't watch the documentary and you're like, oh my gosh, surprise, unless you've never heard of the story before, which it was a pretty prominent thing. Even, you know, I mean, we have social media, we have the internet, so I remember hearing about this after it happened, and I remember like, oh, okay, well, she climbed in the water tank and drowned, and that was that. So that's not a spoiler, because this was what, in 2013.
That's where you seen the video of the
the elevator
video,
the infamous elevator video.
Well,
that has been on like every like paranormal whatever.
Yeah, because everybody's like, look, she's obviously talking to a ghost or something. I was like,
no,
that girl is having a fucking mental breakdown.
She's having a psychotic break. I mean, she was bipolar, and they find out talking to her sister that these were common behaviors. You find out that she had roommates at the hotel that were disturbed by her behavior because she was leaving little notes and, you know, telling them to leave.
It's because you can, seriously, if you start the video, she's obviously talking on Tumblr and stuff like that, and she's like, there's like her going, well, you know, I wanted to die.
Yeah,
and I shouldn't have these thoughts.
She's bipolar. She's bipolar 1, which is the severest form of it. And if you've ever dealt with anyone severely bipolar, then you're gonna know a lot of times they don't want to take their medications, or they don't take them properly. This girl went out on her own at 21 years old and stopped taking her meds. They kind of figured that out from the toxicology.
Yeah, because it was all the toxicology report showed that she had her drugs that she was supposed to be taking in her system, but not to the quantities that should have been in her system. And so she was probably taking her meds, but like if she was supposed to be taking 3 pills, she was taking 1. Yeah. You know, and
it was known that she hated taking her medication. Yeah, she put that out there on social media that she hated taking them. So people who are bipolar, who aren't properly medicated, who aren't receiving the counseling, you know, they do strange things. They have strange behaviors. And if you've ever seen somebody that has a mental illness, those strange movements that she was making, and her like popping out of the elevator and moving back and forth and moving her hands very strangely, that's really not that far-fetched at all.
People, they start to suffer from paranoia. You start believing that people are following you. You start thinking that everybody's out to get you.
Well, if you've ever, like, people talk about the movements. If you've ever been around anybody with severe mental illness that's going through that, they will move very strangely. They will move their body in weird ways. Yeah. That's not normal. You and I do. No. Their movements, they will twitch, they will, you know, they will have tics, they will move their hands strangely. Like, that's what they do. So none of that is, you know, when it goes through and explains what happened, it's obvious. There was no foul play in that. There was no, you know, there was no villain there.
And people would get upset because they're like, you know, there was miscommunication here and there. Well, they were taking that miscommunication, and they're like, well, the lid was closed. And I'm like, if you go back, they went back and looked, I'm like, yeah, it says it was left open. He found it open. The whole with the date on the toxicology report, if you look, it looks, it's a really light 8. So if you're just kind of glancing at it, it could be a 5. And then if you would look closer, you would definitely see it's an 8. So people goes, oh well, 3 days later they changed their mind and switched it to this.
Yeah, it don't work that
but
way.
it's not that. If you look, that's an 8 and that's an 8. But I mean,
why wouldn't they put the date? Like, you don't. Okay, if you're gonna fake something, if you're gonna change something on it, you're not gonna put a wrong date. Like,
but the thing is if you fuck up and you mark the wrong X on anything, if I've had to do this personally, you have to.
Okay, a medical record.
Yeah.
I work in the medical field. A medical record, if it's a written medical record, if you make a mistake, you have to cross it out. You cannot scribble it. You cannot do anything. You have to cross it out and you have to date it.
An initial. And that's common with a lot of. I've had to do a lot of important paperwork, and it's always like, oh, I marked the wrong thing. They're like, okay, you need to scratch that. Initial date, and then you need to initial and date above the proper.
Do you
one. Yeah, I do.
You gotta act it out.
I gotta act it out. I'm like,
as you're doing it here, so that I understand what you're saying.
No, I'm not fucking doing it on purpose. Talk about people and ticks and shit, and I have to pretend like I'm drawing and writing shit down when I'm not.
That's OCD. That's different.
Yes, but it's still a mental tick. But for those who don't know, I have OCD. So
anyway.
Yeah. But, you go through this whole thing, and you see these people who want the case to be solved. They want
they want a villain.
They want a villain. They want it to have been that,
because they want to solve the case.
Yeah.
They want to be the one that has this big breakthrough, and they can say, oh, look what I figured out.
Yeah, and they're also doing...
And then they ruin somebody's life in the process.
I'm saying this, and I'm on fucking YouTube, and I'll say this, is a lot of people are doing it for the fucking views.
Well, yeah.
You want them subscribers, you want those views, and you're getting them because, you're putting out there, they're like, oh, I think she was murdered. I know she was murdered. They put her, the janitor did it, and stuff like that. And, okay, I have a unique knowledge on something about this, because they put the fact is that the hotel workers were connected. And that, the hotel should have done this or done this. I've been a manager at a hotel. I've been a manager at a hotel that there was a murder at. Okay? I had to deal with, I was either the second or third shift manager.
Your cat is knocking things
over.
over.
Yeah, I know, my cat's knocking shit over. And I had to deal with making sure that people weren't trying to get in the room. We weren't supposed to talk to people. That's common.
Yeah.
Because you're not supposed to let shit out, because if that gets... Literally, there were people connected to the guy who killed the guy who were making threats against the people at the hotel. Because they said we were saying shit. When there was no document. Because if you don't say shit... What's that little commercial? Shut the fuck up, Friday. We weren't supposed to say nothing because, people asked me, like, I was like, yeah, but what, do you know anything about it? Nope. I was in the room. I seen what the room looked like. I could tell them later after they opened it all up and told us we could. But, I've been through that part, and some of the people at the hotel were accused by the guys for turning him in, and nobody turned the guy in. The guy turned himself in because he didn't know he killed the guy.
Turned himself in twice.
He went to turn himself in. The guy told him to go away and come back later, and then he came back, and then he was like, I think I have a warrant. And they're like, oh yeah, you got a warrant for murder. Yeah. And the guy's like, what? So the guy we beat up died. But no, and the people were like, well, they should have done this. The security cameras should have been... We had security cameras.
Okay, it was a crap hotel in
the
worst part of
Los
LA,
Angeles.
And...
With outdated equipment.
In the middle of Skid Row, with a criminal element already in the hotel. Okay. And the cops, the police department, that's where they wanted the crime to be, because they basically segregated that area. They created it.
There's literally, if you watch it, they've got the streets cut off so that the homeless can't go above a street.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you stay on that side. Mm-hmm. And yet again, you get people who are fresh out of the insane asylum, fresh out of prison. Some of them need meds. And this is rampant with mental illness and rape and drug abuse and prostitution and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, we can keep them in this, what was it, 5-block radius?
No, it's like 50-block radius.
Yeah, but it's like a shanty town.
Huge.
And this is one reason why I have no desire to ever really fucking go to California. But no, get back to this. Everybody wants to bring up the quality of the camera, the footage. All the look how different. Look at those numbers. Blah blah blah. If you've never had to go look at surveillance footage for anything, especially in an old building or with old outdated equipment, the surveillance equipment sucks. And that hotel was not going to be state of the art.
No,
they were not going to have
money to be.
Yeah, and the quality of the footage is going to be garbage. Mm-hmm. I worked at a hotel. We had garbage security cameras. If you could make out that's a guy, I think. Mm-hmm. That's a child, maybe. That's how it was. And the fact that they got what you could tell was the girl in the hotel's elevator. That's a lot better than most places probably would have been able to get. But the hotel, it's the whole thing is the nasty water that people complaining about and stuff like that probably should have been taken care of earlier than that. And being somebody yet again who's worked in a hotel when we've had water issues or something like that, the first thing you do is move the people into a different room. Mm-hmm. You assume that we got rust in the pipes or something in there. We got to move them over here. Mm-hmm. And then if it continues over here, you're like, okay, well then there's something wrong with our water system.
Then you start investigating it, which is what they did.
Yeah, which for me would have just been checking the water softener. Well, that would suck. That's one thing I'm glad is that it was horrible. The guy got killed where I worked. The fact that I did not find him was, because I don't know what I would have done. Yeah. I mean, I would be like, and yet again, the woman, the first thing she did was when they found the body, she didn't call the police. She called her mom. Mm-hmm. And I'm probably not going to lie. Probably the first person, if I would have found the dead guy at the hotel, I would have called you. Mm-hmm. And be like, I'm probably not going to be home anytime soon. Mm-hmm. And then call the cops. Mm-hmm. And I don't blame her. That would have been the first thing I would have done.
Yeah, she called her mom and basically was like, shit's going to hit
the fan. Yeah. Look, surprisingly enough, I had just left work when they found the guy where I worked. Yeah. I'd been home for 30 minutes?
My dad called me and woke me up.
Yeah. It's the Elisa Lam shit is a lot of failures. Mm-hmm. Everybody goes, "Oh, she got up on the roof through the door," but yet there's you get everybody's like, "Oh, she got onto the roof through a door that has to have a lock, and it's
she climbed.
There's a fire escape.
There's a fire escape. If she was having the mental issues, and she wasn't thinking, I wouldn't do it because I'm terrified of heights. She may not have been scared of heights. If she wasn't scared of heights, there was people up on that roof all day long, people going up and down, no big deal. Some people can handle it. She may not have even thought about the fact that it was
during her episode. She may have been just like whatever, something that you're normally.
Or she might have thought she was running from something.
Yeah, well, she's obviously scared. Yeah, she was paranoid.
So she was, going up because she was trying to get away or whatever. So she went out. I mean, it was a simple, you go up steps and then you climb a ladder and you're on the roof. And yeah, it's 15 stories, but...
Yeah, but if she made her way up to the top story, it was one flight of it's one ladder, and it's literally steps that like you would just walk up anywhere else. The only one that's right there at the end is the ladder. So there's really...
And it's right up against the building. I mean, it's not like...
Yeah, it's not like you're hanging way out over the... No.
And then you go up and you're on the roof. And then there was like a little area where she would have went up another ladder, basically, and then jumped down on top of the tank.
Yep.
And got in there.
Well, obviously you can tell from the videos that she thought there was somebody after her. She was having a break, and she thought somebody was after her. And, you know, she was running, and she was trying to hide. And they even say in the footage that her sister was like, yeah, she would try to hide, and she would run. They'd find her in her closet, under her bed, stuff like that. And if she's in a place that she doesn't know, she's going to try to find a place to hide. And you're going to like, oh, fuck, this is the best place to hide. I'm out in the middle of fucking nowhere. Nobody's here. They're going to, you know. And nobody's going to think to look in here for me. And...
Nobody thought to look in there
No one thought to look for it. And, you know, she could have been in there fine for a few minutes and then thinking, okay, I can climb back out. And then somebody started taking a shower, you know, and then the water started getting too low for her to get to the thing, and panic set in. You know, but it's all speculation on how she got in there, but they know there was no foul play. It was just.
It was unfortunate.
It was unfortunate. She failed.
It was an unfortunate tragedy.
Yeah, and the fact is that you had all these people who wanted there to be the villain. So they started blaming everybody else. They blamed the police force. They blamed the people who worked at the hotel. They blamed Morbid, Pablo Vergara, the death metal guy, or the black metal guy. They blamed him, and he got death threats and all this stuff. And the guy wasn't even in the country at the time.
And he's like the second saddest part about that documentary, honestly, is, you know, her death is tragic. What happened to him is also tragic.
These people ruined his life, and no one has ever apologized. At least that's what he said. You know, everybody's like, you know, fucking, we're gonna kill you. We're gonna find you. You killed Elisa Lam, and you know, he was just a musician from Mexico who liked black metal.
Yeah, who came up with a gimmick for his music. Yeah, I mean.
And it's sad. The whole Elisa Lam thing is sad. And then it makes it worse is that you get shit like, I'm not fucking Ghost Adventures. We're going to go to the Cecil Hotel. Fuck. Seriously, dude? You know, I have no fucking... I think he's like the bottom of the barrel. Fucking... you'll never convince me otherwise. Most of the Ghost Adventures, I used to watch it because I thought it was hilarious but now he's just this guy who's like latches on to anything and everything. It's like, oh, this is the demon house, blah, blah, blah. This is the Cecil Hotel. We're gonna do You're on TV. You're a millionaire, dude. You bought fucking David Koresh fucking Camaro, you know. So I just. That, like I said, that hotel is an unfortunate microcosm. It was a lawless area full of drug addicts, crazy people, you know, I shouldn't say crazy, the mentally unstable people, criminals, everything else like that, because they could. It's no different than if you would walk the 10 feet outside the front door and around the corner to the shanty town that's built out there. It's the same shit that's going on there is the same shit that's going on in that hotel because it's cheap. When, you know, the only reason those people out here aren't in there is because they don't have the money to go in there. And if they did, they would just bring what they're doing outside.
Would they talk about they tried to evict people and then they couldn't because it was residential?
Yeah.
So their hands were tied. Like,
yeah, they couldn't evict the people because they still paid their rent. You can't evict them if they're still paying to live there, which I think is bullshit, because you can just be like, hey, he's fucking doing drugs in there, kick him out. I mean, like I said, I've worked at a hotel. You can fucking kick people out.
Yeah, but when they changed the rules on them.
That's true.
You know?
Because people were like, oh, well, you should have, handled that differently. With when Elisa Lam started showing, the issues and stuff like that, and they just moved her to another room. Anytime we ever had a disturbance out there, I told the people to leave. I was like, hey, either get out or the cops are going to get called. I've only called the cops on a handful of people, and most of those were domestic disturbances, and of course, they were like, well, you didn't do nothing. And so I just was like, hey, you're making too much fucking noise, get out. If the police can't do nothing, at least I can kick them. I hate to say this, I can kick them down the road. They become somebody else's problem, and that's a horrible thing to say, because I know, like I said, being in a hotel, I knew a guy was beating a girl in a room. The cops knew that the guy was beating the girl in the room. The people in either room on either side knew that the guy was beating the girl in the room. The girl wouldn't do nothing. The girl would say, nope, he didn't do nothing. I don't know, it was the TV. And wouldn't come out of the room. And I was like, can you get out? What can I do?
There's nothing more you can do.
There's nothing more I can do, because I can't call the cops. The cops are already there. We had, but, okay. But, I'm sorry, I keep going on tangents. And it is. So, all right, well.
And it is past my bedtime.
Yeah, we're going to wrap up tonight's we're going to wrap up this part of the episode. Tina's going to leave. And we will probably go back to true crime again somewhere down the line. I don't want this to become a true crime podcast altogether, because then I would just go on tangents about true crime.
No. But that's part of what I'm going to do on my own podcast, so...
Hopefully, though, starting next week, I'm going to start doing, I'm probably going to bring Saturday morning serials, which will be me hosting Saturday morning cartoons while eating cereal. Because it's Saturday morning serials. So, and I don't know if I want to do all Saturday morning cartoons, because I know I'm still going to show, like, G.I. Joe, Transformers, and He-Man, and stuff like that. But it is what it is. So I'm going to put a pin in it right now. We're going to end this part of the episode. Tina's going to say goodbye, and I will be back with some comic book reviews and tell everybody good night. So, all right.
Good night.
Good night.
Now, Twix is bigger. Fit it in, please.
Twix is bigger, better than before.
More candy, more cookie.
'Cause it's the same gray face and doesn't cost anymore. Twix is bigger, you get more to munch of the chocolate candy with the cookie crunch.
More crunchy cookie, more creamy caramel, more milk chocolate, more delicious Twix at the same price.
It's the same old price and you get more to munch of the bigger chocolate candy with the bigger cookie crunch.
You're back, huh?
Yeah, I'm back.
I see you got some fries to go with your Big Mac.
Don't mention the fries. But Lester, these are not just fries. These are McDonald's world-famous French fries. Hot, crispy, delicious, golden brown.
I know what they are, and they're all mine.
Hey, Les, old pal. Old pal, nothing. You want some fries? You know where the county is. Hey, what are you doing? You can't get away with this. My foot, watch my foot.
I know karate. Hi-ya!
When it's recorded on a tape that's built to standards 60% higher than the industry calls for, rock and roll is really here to stay.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much of love drives a man insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great ball
Accept.
of fire.
It's worth it.
Hello, and I'm back for the comic review, which I've been doing. If anybody likes this, tell me they like it. If you don't like it, tell me you don't like it. But we are going to give you a heads up on some upcoming books coming out this Wednesday for DC Comics. I wish I could get Marvel Comics a full week in advance, but So far, it's only DC. First book up on there is Nightwing, Future State number 2, both covers. I have been, I don't know, I kind of dig it, but we're going to see where it goes from here. Haven't had a chance to read this one yet, so I am apologizing in advance because I have not got a chance to read some of these. I've been behind because it's Valentine's Day weekend, and I did spend time with my wife and my kids because, you know, it is. Next up is Immortal Wonder Woman 2. Boom. Both covers. I don't know. Kind of like the regular cover over the variant cover. This has been a really entertaining book. I hate to say this because they're going to go back to the regular continuity. I would like to see the future Wonder Woman from here just continue with maybe an alternate universe type stuff. Then we got next Batman number 4 that Future State dropped. Boom, there we go. Get you a badass Jim Lee cover, which is basically just the old school cover with the new Batman's drawn over it. I enjoy it. I think it's a little weird what's going on right now, being that there's technically 2 Batmans, but it is what it is. Here we go. Next up is Wonder Woman, Catwoman, Future State number 2. This is the second part of the what I call the Great Train Robbery. Yeah, it's the Great Train Robbery finale. There we go. Boom. I did not think that this one was going to be as good as it was. I am actually impressed with Catwoman. Here's one of the biggest letdowns, I think, for the series. Some people love this. I don't. I'm not a fan. It's the Kara Zor-El Superwoman. To me, it's almost Supergirl meets Sailor Moon. I'm just not a fan. I picked it up. I gave it a chance. It's just not what I thought it would be. But the one I have liked so far is Future State Superman Worlds of War. That is a great book. It's an anthology. It's got Clark Kent, Midnighter, Black Racer, and Mr. Miracle in it. The Black Racer and Mr. Miracle stories are not the strongest. The Clark Kent on War World is really pretty good. Him under Red Sun, where he's weak, but he's still trying to protect the smaller man. And then the Midnighter was really good. I'm not a fan of the artwork that they have on that storyline. And the worst part about it is I usually like Oming, but I like his stuff on like Powers and whatnot. I just don't think it fits maybe the storyline a little bit. There you go. But I do like the story. The artwork's not what I would hope for, but the story is really good. God dang, this one right here. Future State Shazam number 2. Holy crap. You learn that I don't want to give too much away here, but Shazam and Billy have been yanked apart. Basically, Billy is trying to stop Hell, and Shazam is up here trying to fill in the spot as Captain Marvel, fighting for truth, justice, and stuff like that. But he's also, since he's not half Billy right now, things are all kinds of screwed up. And Batman, Catwoman. There it is, man. I'm not going to lie. I've been waiting for this for the simple fact is that it is bringing Phantasm to the canon. I love Phantasm since she appeared, which I don't even know if it's going to be the same Phantasm, but since they appeared in Batman Mask of the Phantasm, the movie. I'm probably one of the few people that actually got to see that in theaters. For no to know that was a theatrical movie that bombed in the theater. And we also get, because this is one I'm not really a big fan of the time jump aspect of it, but it's weird because I like the story, but I'm not a fan of the time jumps. But we get the first appearance of Catwoman and Bruce's daughter, all grown up and Batwoman. So I have a feeling this is going to be a highly sought after book. I think it's going to be hot because that is her first appearance. Alright, that's next week's books. Here are my picks for this week. This was books that I read this week that I think are freaking good or that you should be out reading or whatever. Star Wars Darth Vader. Marvel has just been killing it with this Darth Vader series. The fact that Darth Vader knows what he's doing is essentially wrong, and he shouldn't be doing it, but that he's afraid he's too far gone to be redeemed, that he's punishing himself is great. They added, some new characters, which I just love the fact, that Vader was punished by the Emperor, and that's probably my top Star Wars monthly read right now. When I get my books, first book I read, Star Wars Darth Vader. Usually, unless it falls on the same as Immortal Hulk, but it doesn't usually happen. King in Black Thunderbolts. Basically, I hate to say it, it's Marvel ripping off. I mean, the Thunderbolts have always been bad guys pretending to be good guys. This isn't even them pretending. These are the bad guys trying to do a job, and it's basically Marvel's answer to Suicide Squad, except for I think they do it better right now, comic book wise. Taskmaster's great in it. Mr. Fear, Batroc the Leaper, Star. I don't want to give anything away. You just need to read this. If you need to go out and pick this up right now, and it also doesn't hurt that Dayton area artist Kyle Hotz is the one that does the covers, which shout out to Kyle. So the next one is Radiant Black. Boom, both covers. I have a feeling this one is going to be hot. I think this is going to be... I could definitely see this being picked up for movie or TV series. First issue in, there's a lot of character development in just a very short period of time, and the artwork's really good. Marcelo Costa is the art. Kyle Higgins is the writer. It does have very much for those who know, whoever read Invincible, it has a little bit of an Invincible feel to it, especially the art, but I'm glad I picked this book up. I picked it up on a whim because it looked good, and I'm hooked. Next one is Homesick Pilots. Oh, man. This I could definitely see being picked up by Netflix. I could see this being a series on Netflix. I'm 3 issues in. I've been hooked since issue 1. It's all about being kind of trapped in a haunted house and having to deal with the ghost while you're still alive but trapped in there. Or are you alive? Next one is Gung Ho Sexy Beast. I'm not 100% sure what's going on in this book. Because they really haven't delved into the backstory of why the world is the way it is. But what they are, sprinkling in has me just fascinated and wants me to keep reading it month after month. I just picked up the first issue, and I had to jump on the second issue and immediately reorder it. And this one's actually a couple weeks late because I just got it because of I got shorted. And Tarna from Heavy Metal. Tarna, the last Tarkarian. I can say this, local boy Patrick Zurcher from Piqua, who now doesn't live in Piqua. He's a decent comic book artist. He does the artwork on it. It fills in some of what you don't get in the her story arc in the original Heavy Metal movie. But it's definitely connected. A lot of recurring characters from that storyline. This is just fun. It's just a good book. I'm glad I picked it up. It's bad because issue 3 drops on my son's birthday. So that is all for this week's books. And like I said, I'm going to put out there. I'm going to keep doing reviews. I keep getting our books, early enough. Unfortunately, I did not get the DC Future State early enough to be able to read them all. FedEx was running behind, so we didn't get them until I usually get them on Thursdays, and I didn't get them until Fridays, and I didn't get to them until Saturday. So I didn't start reading them until last night. So sorry about that. Hopefully, I'll have them caught up by next week, and we will be able to do all of them. I can review all of them, not just show you the covers and tell you what I like about the covers. But like I said before, we're putting it out there. We're trying to hit the 100 subscriber mark on YouTube. We're trying to hit the 100 subscriber mark on Podbean. And when I do, I will be giving away to one lucky subscriber the hardback trade paperback. For YouTube will be DC's Metals. And for Podbean will be DC's Road to Metals. Both sealed foil covered trade paperbacks. But as always, remember, like, subscribe. I appreciate everybody out there who's, I got people coming in the shop telling me they love watching the show. They love listening to it. I appreciate you guys. I'm just always trying to make the show better. We're trying to, if we make a little money off of it, we make a little money off of it. But I like to give you guys information. And I like to keep it fresh every episode. So, I'll keep doing the comic book reviews. I'll do the full episode comic reviews at the end. But check us out on YouTube, Podbean, Stitcher Podcast, TuneIn, Podcast Addicts, Pandora, Spotify, iHeartRadio. It's probably easier to say the one. I think that we're not on Deezer. So that's what we're going to do for tonight. And I am Paul, because Tina's already left and went to bed. And Brandon's taking a day off. And I'm out of here, and I'm not a licensed therapist. Good night, y'all.